touching on the top prop bets in the NBA today. All right, so getting into the board for today, it is going to be a much better board than we've had the last like 3 days, really, at least as it sits right now. And I'm not saying we have any locks, but at least we have odds that are pretty high that we want to chase. And then we also have the projections that correlate with those odds. So finally, we're going to have some solid bets is what I should say. None of them are locks, but at least we have that. It's honestly a little relieving for me as I give out picks and whatnot. I do just want to call this out, guys. I kind of went over a Taco Tuesday strategy video like 2 nights ago for yesterday's slate, and it worked to a T. Like yesterday, I went 40% of the bets hit, which if you guys watched the video, that means there was a slight profit. Okay, 6 out of the 15 hit. And so with all the tacos hitting, that ended up being kind of lucky, but basically you need to have 5 of your props hit to break even. And so 6, slight profit. And that's going 40%. I mean, it was a bad day. Got a little bit of a bad beat on a -150 player, double overtime game. It happened. But that was like yesterday's board was just, we didn't have much. We just didn't. And so today it's kind of relieving that we're getting some decent props. So let's go ahead and get into those. And obviously this can change throughout the day. You know, it's never concrete. But let's start off with Terry Rozier over 2.5 threes made. Okay, we can see kind of been hit or miss here. 3 out of the last 5. No, okay. So the thing that I like to see is right here. -139 across all the sports books to get the over, +109 to get the under, and he's projected to get 2.78. Sure, I'd want the edge of that to be a little bit higher, but at the same time, we will take that. We can see on the season averages 2.7. That's huge. And all the like kind of metrics that we use to kind of measure the likelihood of a prop hitting are all favoring the over as well. Not gigantically, but we can see how this kind of all adds up to it being a solid prop line. Now, I do want to point out that the minutes are projected to be higher here, but this game, you never know, but this game could potentially be a blowout with the Spurs. It is what it is, but look at that game over and under, 241.5. That is going to be a game in which we could stack, okay? And I just want to remind you guys, if you are running out a 3-leg stack, it's worth looking on Underdog instead of PrizePicks, where the payout is a little bit better for a 3-leg stack, just an FYI. But yeah, this is going to be the best one, like really on the day as it sits right now. And these two teams did meet. It was earlier on this season. He went 4 for 7. Now, that's so long ago, I don't think we can draw anything from that. All these teams are different now, especially with the makeup of the trade deadline and how the rosters are looking. So don't go too crazy with that. I want to point that out. And so while we're there, LaMelo Ball as well, over 3.5 threes made. And it's basically going to be the exact same thing as Terry Rozier, where we see that this game is great in terms of attacking it. And if the Charlotte Hornets are, blowing them out, well, we assume that's going to be because of players like Rozier and also Ball and the next player I'll mention. And let's just compare their odds on here compared to what they're looking like across all the sports books. I did notice today, guys, that DraftKings Sportsbook seems to be a little bit higher on average than most of the other sports books. And FanDuel as well. Just an FYI, I don't know if there's anything to take from that. It's just very interesting. So I would almost say if you disagree with one of these and you're someone that can, bet on both sportsbooks and PrizePicks, maybe you come into, let's say you don't think LaMelo Ball is going to hit the over 3s. Well, you would want to make the under bet on here as compared to some of the other sportsbook. And that's for people that do multiple sportsbooks. Okay. Looking at it, we can see they have them set at -140. Now, if we look across all the sportsbooks, we will see that number is set at -133 across all the sportsbooks, but the under for that is going to be set at 104. Okay, projected to get 4.24, which is a very good number. There's a bigger edge there as well. So we can see for him, looking at all the key metrics that we use as well to kind of predict if it'll work, he's projected to get over. And so as long as the minutes are there as well, should be a very strong bet for us today. And guys, I'm actually curious, do you think PrizePicks has it tighter, or is it the sportsbooks that have the lines tighter at the beginning of the week? Because it always seems like Taco Tuesdays, for the most part, we're having tighter lines than we do as the week progresses. So one of the favorable lines that we are going to get is going to be PJ Washington over 2.5 assists. Now, we can see not going to exactly be a lock and load bet here, but once again, this is going to be very much because of the matchup. We look across all the sportsbooks, they have it set at -137 on average. Great number there. We can see DK Sportsbook around -130. So, right on par with what we are kind of expecting here. So I'm kind of curious. Let's just scroll back to see. He does average 2.4 on the season. I'm curious to see if, okay, yeah, so a little bit more consistent numbers. prior to the last 5. Obviously, we don't like 1-1 there. That'd be painful. But for the most part, have been a little bit more consistent earlier on in the season. And obviously, Mason Plumlee's there. That's led to a little bit more usage for PJ Washington. I mean, he's really stepped up, and I do expect him to have a good game against the Spurs. Once again, this is a game that we want to attack. And I would say it somewhat correlates a little bit. Like if it's a high scoring game, right? And if Rozier and Ball are going to make some threes like that, you would kind of expect, hey, maybe they dump it off to PJ Washington in the paint. He does a little move, kicks it back out to them. They have a wide open 3, they make it. So it does kind of make some logical sense. It kind of adds up to it being a decent bet. And so if we just pull it up here, the only kind of metric that we use that's under is going to be just average points. Okay, so as long as the minutes continue to be there like they should, like all these players are expected to see a slight increase in minutes, then it should be a good bet. And I'm wondering, did anyone end up on Robert Williams last night for like over rebounds? Because that was one that kind of stuck out. His minutes weren't there. He had 15 minutes and like 5 rebounds in 15 minutes. So anyone that ended up on him, I kind of feel bad because that was like, what's going on there? That's just my long way of saying, we never know exactly what the minutes are going to be day to day. That's why we have projections. All right, so another strong win that we got is going to be Jalen Brunson over 5.5 assists. Now we can see he's been right there, and I love to see this. I love to see the consistency where in the games in which he's missing, it's just one more assist, which obviously is not much. I don't like seeing like the roller coasters because you never know exactly what you're going to get. I kind of like the fact that if it's close, we probably will get it. And given the fact that he didn't get the last 2 games, kind of expect him to get this game. So let's pull that one up here. See if they played each other this year yet. Okay, they did. 9 assists in that game. 0 rebounds. That's strange. We can see on the season averages 6.2. 6 against them earlier as well, and then 5. So I like those numbers. On average, he's been over this against them. 2 out of 3 has been over it. I'm actually curious. Let's take a peek at what his line is on DK. Minus 135, so still a good number there. What I want to see is the game line. All right, so good. It's projected to stay close, kind of a high-scoring game as well. So, we like that. That is very solid there. And so let's go ahead and pull him up here as well. And so, guys, like this is, like, you're already seeing, like, we did not get, like, a single bet like this the last 2 days. It was like ones in which the odds might not have been favoring it, okay? Or if they were favoring it heavily, they were not projected to get over. And so we're getting a bunch of bets in which the lines are saying like the over and the projections are saying the over. And the games aren't games in which we should expect like high variance. Like it's all kind of coming together today. I'm not saying like overly attack today. Don't ever do that. Like unless we have like a free square, we just stick to your plan. But it is encouraging that we're finally getting some good lines. And so looking at guys, we can see once again with all the key metrics that we're looking at, we can see should be able to get over here. And what's strange here is the prop line based off of the opponent's per minute production. So on like the average assist per minute that they give up times by his projected minutes is at 6.69. And so it's not really a matchup thing as well, which I found very interesting there. So Jalen Brunson should be able to have a strong day. Okay, so now I want to point out that we are going to start to get into minus under odds here, whereas the previous ones were all plus, which is pretty encouraging here. But I just want to call these out as well because they are still going to be strong bets. So looking at it, we got like Desmond Bane going to be over 4.5 rebounds, which is looking like a solid one. Once again, we are getting like, minus 33 for the under, which whatever. We're getting minus 129 for the over. We'll take that. Projected to get 5.8. We'll take that. Okay, and we can kind of see like not as much as a peak as we'd like to see, like consistency across the board. But yeah, it is one that's going to be favored to get over. So once again, I just like to compare it to like DK Sportsbook. So they're saying minus 140. And so that's what I'm saying, guys. Like this morning, we are seeing more discrepancies in the sportsbooks. And let's look at that game real quick. Slight potential for there to be a blowout, but a high scoring game as well. So that's encouraging. And we can see three straight games again the over, and that might honestly be the thing that's not encouraging is that 3 straight games again the over. Okay, he's expected to come back down to his mean, his average, which is 4.9, and if he does that, we're still getting the over here. Just strange numbers, really. Look at the last time out against Utah, 6 rebounds, 9 assists. The other game, 6 rebounds. So pretty good stuff there against Utah as well. I might like this one the most, even though it's getting the minus on average across all the sports books. This is all right. So the last few days, it's been like, all right, which prop bets can we make? Are we forcing it? We're definitely not playing as much. Now it's like, and it's probably because we haven't gotten good numbers, good props. But I kind of feel like, I don't know, the toughest part about today is going to be not being too aggressive, I guess, after 2 days in which we weren't getting good lines, after being disciplined. Got to stick to the script. And my script is kind of, 2-leg bets, making the best bets based off of prop lines. And that's what we're getting today. But I don't need to overextend myself. And so You guys shouldn't do that either. But hey, whatever your guys' strategy is, do that, because that's the number one thing that leads people to struggle, is that they differentiate from their strategy. So another one would be looking at Jordan Clarkson over assists. Now, we did bet this the last time out, and he did not get there. So that's going to be the worry. And that was annoying because I think he was at like 3 assists at halftime and just didn't get there. Or maybe it was 2 assists, whatever. He was very close, or it seemed like he was going to get there at halftime, and then just didn't happen. I think it was 3 assists at halftime. But we can see like only one time over the last few games, and he is someone on the season that does average 4.2 assists. So eventually he's going to get back towards his mean, which is 4.2 assists, and that just hasn't happened recently, so you kind of expect it to eventually happen. Now, against Memphis last time out, 3 assists, 7 and 6, so okay. I expect him to get over. Doesn't feel as much like a lock and load or anything like that, and I never like to use the lock word, but it seems like a quality bet as well. And then lastly, guys, I could keep going. Like, we are getting a big edge. Like, the only one in which isn't like super great would be the Brunson one. No, that's not even true. So it'd be, no, these are all very solid bets that we're getting this morning. Like, I could keep going down the list. We don't need this video to be too long. Like, Walker Kessler over 9.5 rebounds could get there. Luka over 3s, projected to get there. So yeah, here's Kessler, obviously getting a lot more minutes recently. Should be able to get the over as long as those minutes are still there. And we can see while he was getting 21 minutes on average, still was averaging 7.6 rebounds. So with the increase in minutes, should be able to get there. SGA, another one that's favored to get over. And like, it's crazy. Like, why couldn't we get these the last couple of days? It's kind of frustrating. And now we look at some under bets. So the first under bet is going to be Josh Giddey under 7.5 rebounds. We can see been very close kind of the last 4 games, hasn't been able to get the over, which, as you guys can probably predict, is what gets me a little bit worried. The fact that he hasn't gone over that, because he most likely, I shouldn't say most likely, but chances are he's going to have a game in which he gets over. And the last time out against Houston, 8 rebounds. Now, I do think a piece to that puzzle is the fact that Dort's back as well. Okay, he's going to soak up some minutes, soak up a little bit of usage as well. So that could be part of the reason as to why maybe Giddey isn't as fully productive as he had been. Now, it's not big or anything like that, but those small things that occur could be the reason why. Now, if we look at it on the season, is someone that averages 7.8, so we are betting for his average not to hit, and in 2 games against Houston, most recently, did get over that as well. So definitely not a lock and load. But those 2 games were without Dort as well, so it wouldn't be shocking, I guess, for him to get 1 less rebound. And then the under hits. And if we pull it up, like, we can see, not as sexy as the over bets. It's very tight. And in some situations, we expect the over. Okay. So very tight, but probably the best under bet that we're getting. And look at these guys. Like, there's so many decent ones. Like Ja Morant, not a big edge here as well. And I guess this would correlate a little bit with Bane going over as well. So maybe don't pair them together. But looking at, like, across the board, we can see very tight as well. So the under bets are not going to be as appealing as the over bets. Like, here we got Julius Randle, who's actually projected to get over, so probably staying away from that one. Same thing with Sengun, projected to get over, even though the odds are suggesting the under. Here's one as well that's very tight. Jimmy Butler rebounds, so we can see these are getting a lot tighter now as we go on. Let's see if there's any in which the prop lines are not matching with the numbers that we're getting. Sort of for like points, rebounds, and assists, we could see this could be a big edge there for Luka to bet the over, but I don't know. Do you trust Luka right now with Kyrie there? That's the biggest question. Probably not. We're probably staying away from that until we get a full sample size of that team. And so, like, I don't feel the need to force any of these in there. Like, this one's decent to bet the over, I guess, but like not a good line as a whole. Some are probably favored at 16 points sportsbook wise, and PrizePicks has it set at 15.5, projected to get 18. It kind of feels like you're forcing it there. And so now just getting into a couple NHL bets, and guys, the lines have been changing very frequently in the morning, so maybe pause a little bit. But DK Sportsbook had this line set at -140, whereas the other sportsbooks on average have it set at -125. So tough to exactly know what to do there, but that's kind of why I used like DK Sportsbook as like a base to kind of just see day in and day out kind of what the lines are looking like. So we can see, sorry, I don't know if I said over and under. It is the under here, -140 for the under here. Okay, I think I said over. Under here, okay? So we'd be betting the under once again. But if we look across all the other sports, which they're kind of saying closer to -125 for the under. And then the only other one that we're getting here as well would be another under bet, -140 here, and that's on DK Sportsbook. If you look across all the sportsbook, it's set at -120. So I don't know, that could be like a wait and see to see if DraftKings adjusts or what. Or whatnot. It's kind of feels like we're forcing those two if we need. All right, so getting into today's bets. If I had to pick 2, I think I would go with these 2. Brunson more rebounds and Terry Rozier more 3s, or potentially Bane with Rozier. Okay, but these would be the top 6 that we're seeing on today. Typically speaking, I want to go ahead and bet my favorite bets in a 2-leg bet instead of this huge 6-legger, okay? Just as an FYI. But that's all for today. As you guys can see, a little bit more, I guess, excited to get into the coverage today just because, you know, we're not forcing bets, and that's always nice, okay? So that's the tough part about providing content each and every day. And I feel like that's a good lesson as well. If there's ever a day in which, you know, we're just not getting that great of lines, we don't need to play. We're not getting rewards like bonus points or anything like that for playing every day on PrizePicks or Underdog for that matter. Something to think about for them to keep us playing though, right? All right, thanks for watching, guys. Let's have a good slate. Good luck tonight, and as always, let's keep cashing.